welcome to Freaky Fandoms. I am Andrew.
And I am Deborah.
And today we are talking about Kingdom Hearts. Deborah, what's going on?
Okay, so we're just going to jump into it this time. This is kind of an episode where we're going to be talking about the series as a whole, the fan base, and the new game.
Yeah. Which you've played through and we're going to be reviewing.
Yeah.
So towards the end of the episode, or the middle, or right out of the gate, what do you want to do? How do you want to address Kingdom Hearts 3?
I want to go ahead and throw up a wall right now, just saying I am a devout, huge Kingdom Hearts fan.
Yeah.
Like, I've been there since day one. It's insane how important this is to me. And as everyone knows, I'm very opinionated and I get very passionate. So keep that in mind that this is going to be a passionate episode. Also, with that in mind too, I'm going to have a lot of differing opinions. I know that they are my opinions. They do not express everyone in the fan base or everyone else, but this is how I feel. If you don't agree with me, that's fine, but I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah. So, folks, this is going to be, as it always is, part of a review of the fandom and a sort of in-depth discussion about the games, and especially the new game. We got a lot to say. So remember, it's all subjective, and if you want to talk to us about any of your thoughts, if they differ or if they're similar, just hit us up where we are online.
Yep, and no offense to anybody or anyone's ideas or anything like that. So let's start this the way we always start this. How did you get introduced to Kingdom Hearts?
Friends. So we had a group who used to play games overnight, a lot of all-nighters on the weekends and on the weekdays, too, during high school. And we would just kind of all hang out like a community where either we were watching movies together or we were watching someone play games. And we had a lot of people in the group who were big Final Fantasy fans. And then Kingdom Hearts came out, and we all sort of locked in while a couple of us played through the first game.
Now, did you actually play any Kingdom Hearts, or were you just an observer?
I was one of the watchers.
Yeah.
I would hang out. I would play other games on like Game Boy, or just watch the gameplay. And I would occasionally like jump in and riff, or I would just be fucking chilling out, drinking soda and being a slug. But yeah, I was really, really familiar with Kingdom Hearts and what the first game was going on about. I just never had the desire to pick up the controller. I was more happy to just watch it unfold.
Okay.
So what about you?
So I actually found this when it first got released on PlayStation, when it was still just Squaresoft, I believe it was. It wasn't Square Enix. It was either Square or Squaresoft, I don't remember. But I actually found it in Network Video, in the video game section of the rental store. And I picked it up and I'm like, oh my God, this looks amazing. And I rented it, didn't even get past the first like training level. And I was like, this game's trash. Fast forward a year later, and one of my girlfriends was talking to me about it. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'll give it a second shot. And that's when it clicked.
Okay. When was this? Did this come out in 2001 or?
It was like 2002.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds about right. Because, yeah, this was a big fucking deal for the early 2000s.
Yeah. So when I played it again, that's when it clicked. And I just immediately fell in love. Like, it was I guess I just had to wait to mature a little bit more for a year.
Yeah.
But it came into my life at a really good time, and it's always been something that I carry through. It's one of those ones that I can tell you where to go without even looking at the screen.
Right.
So that's how I just got into it, was seeing it at the rental store, and then my girlfriend being like, hey, play this game.
Okay, so...
And I played all of them.
Here's the big question, though. Did you get into it because of Final Fantasy, or did you get into it because of Disney?
Disney.
Okay.
I got into it.
Because there is a big divide among the fans
I know
of
there
what
is.
this game is supposed to be.
This is not for me, this is not a Final Fantasy game. It just has Final Fantasy characters in it.
Yeah.
Which is cool. It doesn't bother me, and I actually thought it was kind of cool that they were in there.
But you weren't like an FF7 hardcore.
No, I don't play Final Fantasy. That's not my gig. It's not something I'm into because they're mostly turn-based, and I just don't gel with that style.
So Sephiroth and Cloud and all those
It was
guys.
nice seeing them in a non-turn-based game where I can enjoy them.
Sure.
But no, I went on this because it was Disney.
Yeah.
So
what was your take on the main character, Riku? Do you feel like he's more of a Disney character or a Final Fantasy character?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. The main character, Kairi, right?
Oh, you mean Wheat Toast?
Yeah. The main character, Florpus? Flubel?
Sora.
That's right.
Sora, for me, is a Disney character.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's a Final Fantasy character
No.
wearing a Disney skin.
No, he's a Disney character.
Okay. Fair enough.
Riku could be a Final Fantasy character. I get that.
I feel like they kind of all are. Like, there's just that really...
You want to know something? How about this? They're just Kingdom Hearts characters.
Well, I guess that's a way to look at it. All right, so first game. Overall, big fucking deal for you.
Yeah.
And then, 5 years later, the second one came out?
Yeah, second one came out. I got that very first... I got that on release day.
Oh, was that 06?
Yeah, 06.
Yeah.
I got that, no, sorry, it was 05. It was December of 05.
Okay.
I got it on release day, and I played through it and beat it within 2.5 days while I was going to school, like going to high school, and I would stay up late in my room and play it and just shut myself out.
Yeah.
Neglected my homework.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, like, these games will take you away from every other
Everything.
fucking obligation to finish them if you're invested.
And I beat it, and I thought, at the time I liked it, and then over the years it kind of lost its flavor for me.
Okay. Well, I'd say...
But it's not the worst. There are things that I don't like. All right, all I have to do is get through Twilight Town, and then I'm fine. And the story is a lot more convoluted, but I still enjoy a majority of that game.
Okay, so overall, Kingdom Hearts encompasses this huge fucking deep lore game series that has something like, 12 or 13 titles in it? Something along those lines?
Yeah.
So you've got the primary games, which are Kingdom Hearts 2, and Kingdom Hearts 3.
And then you have Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance, Chain of Memories.
Yeah, those are all peripherals, which
Yeah.
are on a spread of multiple different platforms and systems. But we're like fucking 8 minutes into this, and we haven't even talked about what this whole thing is about. So let's try to do the elevator pitch summary of what Kingdom Hearts is.
Kingdom Hearts is about a kid named Sora who becomes a Keyblade master and has to go to different Disney worlds and save people from becoming heartless and saving all the worlds, and heartless people become nobody. Like, if you lose your heart, you become, like, you make a heartless and a nobody. There's an organization that's after you called Organization 13 who's trying to make a Keyblade so that the darkness can come in.
You're already going so deep.
Because it's what it is!
All right, so it's a Save the Disney Universe game, right?
Yeah.
And it's filled with Final Fantasy characters.
And a really convoluted, ridiculously hard to follow storyline.
Let's just call it an anime plotline.
Oh no, this is the king of anime plotlines. I've never seen something so it's all arbitrary.
See, I don't know how much this relates, but I would almost say you should get into DBZ or like some other anime that's as deep as this goes, like Naruto or One Piece or fucking whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, it's very much like that, where you keep having all of these plot lines unfold under the core plot line of a kid has a sword and he's trying to save the world, the universe, the galaxy of Disney, while Mickey and other Disney characters are involved.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're a little sword fighter kid, and he has friends, and they all hang out on an island. And then they start going from one Disney property to another.
Well, no.
Right?
He has friends,
Yeah.
and his island gets destroyed, and he gets separated from his friends.
I'm not saying why he goes to all these other
No,
worlds.
no, that is the literal reason why he does, because he gets separated from his friends, and he becomes dubbed a Keyblade Master, meets Donald and Goofy, and then the literal plot of the first one is to go to all the Disney worlds to try to find his friends from the island.
Yeah. So that's what I'm getting at. You know, I'm not like saying why this is happening. I'm saying what's happening. So he goes from his island to
Everywhere.
Snow White, I guess.
No, that's not till later. He goes to Alice.
Sleeping Beauty.
No, that's not till later.
Okay, Little Mermaid,
Yes.
Tarzan,
Yes.
Sword in the Stone.
No, Merlin pops up, but you never get to do Sword
He never goes to Sword in the Stone world. He goes to Hercules world,
Yes, he does.
like a bunch.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why you like this game so much, because it's
got-
going for the God of War thing a little bit.
Whatever.
Did God of War come out before Kingdom Hearts or after?
I don't remember, because I didn't play God of War for the first time until I was...
I'm not talking about the Viking one. I'm talking about...
didn't play God of War until I was 20.
Okay. So you played God of War after Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about the gameplay real quick, and then we'll talk about the ins and outs of this extremely complex story.
So gameplay is just mash X and sometimes triangle.
So just like FF7.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Sorry, Christian and Chess. So the gameplay is running around, mashing buttons, and getting from one boss fight to the next while watching cutscenes and taking out minor characters.
That's what this one's about. The other one, you actually got to explore and go on fun things and not have so much...
So when you're saying this one, you're referring to Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yes.
So what did you love the most about the gameplay of the first Kingdom Hearts?
I don't know. I think it was how simple it was. It was, you just have to do this.
Okay.
And that was that.
Very goal-oriented,
it was
very objective, very focused.
And they all are, but it was smaller, and it was just more compact and precise for me.
Okay.
And even though they weren't huge epic battles, I found them to be enjoyable.
Okay. Well,
and they also didn't last extremely long either.
So a well-paced game.
Well-paced with long enough boss fights where you were engaged, but you weren't getting exhausted and bored or frustrated. It was like, okay, I just got to be strategic and I can knock this out. And it was super clean.
Okay, so good structure.
Yeah,
really
I
good
loved the
structure from one fight to the next. Good story that isn't pulling you in too many different directions or making you know too much about too many characters that don't matter to the ultimate story.
Yeah.
Even though as the lore goes on,
It
they try to make...
All right, that's my main complaint about Kingdom Hearts is they took a really good, simple story that they could have done so much with.
Yeah, save the universe in each of the different worlds at one time.
And
right?
they just tore it into pieces and added too many other parts to make this huge overlying story that, for me, doesn't work.
Okay, so let's talk about Kingdom Hearts 2 real quick. And
I hate the gameplay in Kingdom Hearts 2. The combat system, the limits and the changing outfits and everything, it doesn't flow well. It's not bad. It's just, for me, it didn't flow well. And some of the boss fights, it wasn't as clean, but it wasn't all over the place either. And it wasn't exhausting. It was just, it wasn't as smooth as I thought it could be.
And you have to change main characters in Kingdom Hearts 2.
A couple of times.
But
It's not that big of a deal.
Okay. You want to talk about the gummy ship? Because that's a big part of the first game and the second game. And then the third game, it becomes a real fucking hassle, I guess.
I don't want to talk about the gummy ship.
Okay, then we'll just summarize real quick. Whenever you're traveling between Disney movies, basically, you are flying through space in a fun little ship that goes pew pew pew.
And you shoot down heartless ships, and that's that.
All right.
And then it turns into you're doing this. And now you're getting to that world. Okay, well, we're going to stop you and we're going to make you fight a boss for no fucking reason.
So, let's summarize real quick. Kingdom Hearts 1, great fucking game. Kingdom Hearts 2, okay.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3, we will give our opinion on after we discuss the lore of the game. What do you think? Do you want to talk about this whole story?
We already talked about the lore. No, it's too much. Like,
Okay.
I am so upset right now.
Okay. So, if we're not going to dive deep and talk about Organization 13...
My brain is literally numb right
Okay.
now.
Okay. Then, what would be the best place to go next with this discussion?
Fan base.
Okay, so, as a hardcore fan, what has been your experience with the Kingdom Hearts fandom?
Kingdom Hearts fans are, I use this word a lot, but we are ravenous. We're highly opinionated, but we're also extremely divided. So it's really easy for Kingdom Hearts fans to get in huge fights with each other because they have differing opinions on it.
That happens a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah. There are people who are like, Kingdom Hearts 2 is the best one out of the series, and this is why. And then there's like, no, the first one was better, this is why. And it's really hard to find a common ground, at least in my experiences.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Do you think it's because of the different characters? Do you think it's because of the different opinions that people have on who your perspective should be while playing the game?
No, I think it's to do with combat system is better, and
okay.
they added more important key facts to the story. So it's, a lot of people are like, I like the simplicity of the first one.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people are like, but the first one's story sucked. The combat in the second one is better, and they added so much more things to make it more interesting. And it's like there's a divide there.
So it's all very player based. Like,
Yeah.
some players are like, no, I like the on the rails sort of thing that the first game has, and then other people are like, well, the second and third game have more building your weapons and more characters
More
that actually
freedom to do what you want.
That's funny, actually, because when we were getting through Kingdom Hearts 3, every single time you went out of bounds, you would get yelled at by Donald and Goofy. By the way, Donald Duck and Goofy are your partners through this entire fucking series.
I want to go and
When
see
you're going
if I
from
can,
level to level.
I want to see if I can go backwards and go see if I can find a treasure chest.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally blocks you, and they yell at you, no, we don't want to go that way. We need to go do this. And it's like, I want to fucking go over there because I know there's treasure.
Just to get items, just to get power-ups and
Yeah.
health.
Yeah. No.
So the game is very much like an action RPG, and what the
That's
core
exactly
of that
that is exactly what it is. It is an RPG.
What I'm getting at is that the core of that is to increase your level and abilities through progression. So when you defeat someone, you're supposed to get experience, and that's supposed to help you get stronger and be more powerful and have more health.
And it does, unless you do what I did.
So what'd you do in Kingdom Hearts 3 that nixed that?
I didn't realize I did it, but I equipped an ability that actually prohibited from me gaining any experience. So I got through the first 6 levels being a level 2.
Yeah, and I was kind of wondering about that because I saw your stats and they didn't
They
move.
were so low.
It was by the time you got to Toy Story, right?
No. I had beaten Toy Story. I had beaten Tangled. I had beaten Frozen.
Yeah.
I had beaten...
Were you in Big Hero 6?
No, I had gotten to... Where was it?
You beaten Hercules. That's the very first one.
I had beaten It was by the time I got to Monsters Inc. I
Gotcha.
hadn't even finished it. It was like halfway through, like really close to the final boss. When I was like, wait, what's this?
When you're about to fight Iguana Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I actually read what I had equipped, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Do you want to talk about the movies that you go through for each game? Which ones you have to go and beat until you move on to the next world?
Well, this one is a little bit smaller, because in the first one, I believe there's like 10.
Okay. You remember the whole list of all the good ones that you like?
All of them. All of
Alice
them
in
are good.
Wonderland's a big one, right?
I love Alice in Wonderland. I love Tarzan.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like this level, but I am in love with the Monstro bit. I love that.
Oh, fuck yeah. Pinocchio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it. Hollow Bastion is actually one of my favorite levels, period.
Explain that. Hollow Bastion's what?
Hollow Bastion is a Kingdom Hearts world.
Okay, so it's specific to the game. It's
yeah.
not in any other Disney movie.
No.
Hollow Bastion is a
Something
Sora level, or?
it's something that they created. It's a castle.
Okay.
It used to be Radiant Gardens, and then it got destroyed. And then in Kingdom Hearts 2, they turned it into Radiant Gardens, and I hate it.
So there are a lot of different castles and a lot of different worlds that are very specific to this game.
Yeah.
One of them we got to finally visit in Kingdom Hearts 3, which I think you can visit in one of the other peripheral games.
Yeah, it's in Chain of Memories.
Okay, so that's the Keyblade Graveyard.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Castle Oblivion.
Oh, yeah, Castle Oblivion's one too. But the Keyblade Graveyard is basically just a giant graveyard filled with swords
And
from previous characters who were sword masters.
So happy
To be there?
To be there.
Yeah.
I was happy to be there. But
Well, yeah, let's save that for a few minutes. So you got all these fans who are ravenous. Let's talk about...
we waited 13 years for this game.
That's what I wanted to get at, because in those 13 years, Disney and Squaresoft, then Square Enix, put out game after game after game on like all of these
On PSP and
handheld systems,
Yeah.
a bunch. Yeah. And I think the worst one was the poker card game.
So that was Chain of Memories, and also 358 and a half days is one that you either hate it or you love it.
Yeah. Now, the cool thing about a property like God of War is they took all of the side games from the primary games and put them together in a collection and released them on PS3, right?
Yeah, they did the same thing with all the Kingdom Hearts side games too.
Okay, so
That's how I played them.
some of them you played and some of them you had to skip because they were unplayable, right?
I actually attempted to play all of them. Most of them I have played all the way through. I think it was... I can't remember if it was Birth by Sleep or Dream Drop Distance or Recoded. It was one of the three. But I literally could not play it after the second level.
All right, so the big question is, do you have to play all of these other games to get the whole story?
I mean, yes, because of how many directions and threads there are in this story. Or you can just watch an analysis on YouTube, and you can kind of follow.
Well, let's say the only games you've ever played are Kingdom Hearts 2, and Kingdom Hearts 3. How much are you going to miss?
You're going to miss a lot.
Okay, because Kingdom Hearts 3, one of the big takeaways from us right out of the gate after playing it for the last week, there are so many cutscenes.
Okay, so I timed this. I started getting really fed up. Because I think they said altogether there's 258 minutes of nothing but cutscenes in this movie.
Okay,
I mean,
so
in this movie, in this game.
Hours. Like, the amount of, like, 2 fucking long movies.
I finished a battle.
Yeah.
A pretty big one.
Yeah.
And
Over 4 hours worth of fucking cutscenes.
I finished a battle.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, okay, time for a cutscene. So I looked at my clock the entire time it was on, and the cutscene was 32 minutes.
And aren't there multiple cutscenes stacked on top of each other?
Yeah. And then from that cutscene, I went to the gummy ship, and I was infuriated.
Yeah. So where's the divide here between the theatrical element of just watching the animated scenes in the game unfold, or the actual gameplay? Do you care more about actually playing the fucking game than watching it play out?
I wanted to play a game. I didn't want to watch a fucking movie.
Well, you have to watch pretty much 2 entire fucking 2-hour-long movies just to be able to.
It completely took me out of the game, took me out of the mood. It wasn't fun.
Yeah, because
this is me. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I did not have fun playing this game because the cutscenes took me out so much.
All right. Yeah, let's just dive full on into Kingdom Hearts 3. So everything leading up to this is a big fucking deal, and a big fucking deal for fans.
I was in line.
Yeah, let's talk about opening night. Let's talk about getting it the night before.
Yeah, we were. And I put on my Heartless beanie and my Kingdom Hearts jacket. Not my jacket, my shirt. I was going to bring my Keyblade because I have one. And we were in line waiting for it because it came out on Tuesday, but they were doing pre-release on Monday.
Right.
And we were in line so that at 9:00 p.m. I would get that shit.
Let's talk about merchandising real fast because there were a huge, amount of people with tie-ins just buying shit on discount. The merchandising for Kingdom Hearts is fucking insane. Everything you can imagine.
Shot glasses, pens.
Stuff geared at adults, stuff geared at kids.
Yeah.
A lot of the
We actually
humor.
bought a set of the shot glasses.
Yeah, we did. Tons of jokes out there about people who played the first Kingdom Hearts games and are now playing Kingdom Hearts 3 being in their fucking 40s.
Yep.
And introducing their kids to Kingdom Hearts.
Yep.
So many memes about people who are like now middle-aged.
My sister actually sent me one. It was a picture of a 7-year-old little boy.
Sure.
Like with a huge grin on his face, and it said when you played Kingdom Hearts 1, and then it was like a grandpa trying to play.
Yeah.
And it said playing Kingdom Hearts 3.
Sure.
So
God, you've been digging into this fucking third game for a week, and it started off so good.
I put it on.
Yeah.
So let me talk here. I put it on, and I was like, okay, I'm fine. And then I started to cry.
Right.
I was so happy. I was so excited. And then as soon as I pressed play, it was amazing. I love the intro to it. The Yutara Kore songs are always fun at the beginning.
Well, you have a mixtape from 15 years ago.
Oh, the one that I made? Yeah.
Yeah, that we were listening to on our way to see Nick Cave, I think?
No, that was when we were...
Was it on the way to see Karen? Or were we going there for another?
We listened to it on our way to see Eddie Izzard.
That's right.
We digress. So first, as soon as it started, I was extremely happy. And then we get to the Hercules world, and it was everything I needed. I cried for 10 minutes out of excitement and pure joy.
Oh, you were all about it. Yeah, you were having so much fun.
It was perfect. And then after that, we went to Traverse Town, we went to Twilight Town.
Yeah, which you hate.
Not a fan of it, but I knew we had to go there. And since then, it has been a steady low for me.
Well, it's been getting worse and worse. You've been progressing through each level.
Worse.
The movies that you went through were after Traverse Town, the Kingdom Hearts level. You went to Tangled.
Which was okay. My only complaint about Tangled is if I hadn't seen the movie, I wouldn't have understood what the story was.
Okay. But you still had a good time.
Yeah, it was fine.
After that, you went to Frozen?
No, after that, I went to Toy Story, and that was
That's right.
A bit lengthy.
And it was also mech-based quite a bit. You had to jump into giant robots and collect blocks, and
It was fine.
I liked how Wallace Shawn was back as Rex.
Yesora!
And runs up, gives him a hug with his little arms.
And then runs away.
Yeah, it was great.
So it was okay. I thought it was a little long.
You want to talk about any of the objectives?
No, I don't.
Like what each level made you do?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, let's go on to the next one.
I don't want to ruin the game too much for people who haven't played it.
Oh, shit. All right, folks. Well, yeah.
Then
play the game.
I went to Frozen and they have a shot for shot complete version of Let It Go.
Yeah.
And
yep.
so then I went to
Oh, you don't want to talk about shot for shot? Do you want to build a snowman, and then do you want to build a snowman
well, it
reprise?
wasn't shot for shot. You want to build a snowman? It was just a couple minutes of it, and she was talking over it.
Yeah, but you skipped it.
I went back.
Oh, God. Well, actually, talk about the good part of Frozen.
The good part of Frozen is part of Organization 13 puts you in an ice labyrinth. And I fucking loved that shit.
I actually liked watching that because you had no interaction with any characters from the actual Frozen movie. You were in the Frozen realm.
It was like this huge ice palace labyrinth, and it was gorgeous.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I loved it.
But anything that actually had characters from the movie sucked.
I didn't like it. But I loved that part of the level.
You know, kids are gonna love it, right? That's gonna be the part that parents have to keep replaying
Get
for their
outta
fucking
here.
kids.
Then I went to Monsters Inc. and I actually really, I wasn't like floored by it, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed that level. It was really interesting. It kept me engaged. It made me think a little bit.
That reminded me of like a factory
It was
type level game.
Well,
you know?
you've never seen Monsters Inc.
No, I have checked out on Disney movies since, I don't know, Finding Nemo?
It was a factory.
Yeah, well, whatever.
It's a factory.
But you know, I mean, your type of factory levels and those kinds of settings and games, I thought it looked good. I thought it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
From there, and see, this happened both times. So I had the option to choose between Frozen and Monsters Inc. And
Yeah.
I chose Monsters Inc. and it took me to Frozen.
That's right. It seems like even though this game tries to make you think that it's giving you a choice, you go where it wants you to go.
And then the next zone, you could choose between Pirates of the Caribbean and Big Hero 6. And I chose Pirates of the Caribbean, but I showed up at Big Hero 6 first.
So real quick, how was Big Hero 6 in a nutshell? Okay, let's move on to Pirates of the Caribbean.
I fucking hate that level.
It starts off as a big underwater level after you get a million fucking cutscenes with a... Let's talk about the fucking voice acting in this game.
Oh, we will in a minute. Let's just get through the worlds.
After the fucking underwater stuff, before you have to do it again, you have a big pirate ship battle game. That's the thing that I noticed about this game is that there are so many different styles of gameplay that are just mashed together. Like they tried to make a game that included every single type of conceivable gameplay style
Which
you could
is
put in a fucking game.
What's one of my hugest complaints about this game is it's too much. You could have just dumbed it down a little bit. You didn't have to have mech and pirate shit. You didn't have to have all these projectiles and bullshit. That's not what Kingdom Hearts fucking is.
Yeah, it's a big fucking Rococo Ratatouille piece of shit.
I will say though that
We didn't talk about Pooh!
because I didn't play Pooh that much. I played one level and didn't do it anymore.
It was kind of a puzzle game, right?
I don't care.
I like Pooh.
So what they tried to do with the combat system with your Keyblades in Kingdom Hearts 2, they perfected in this one. I have so much fun.
Talk about it.
So your Keyblades can now transform into different things and do all these kinds of special moves. And it is so fluid and so enjoyable to do. And it's different every single time you do it. It's like, even though you know, it's like, oh, I'm going to be doing this and this and this, it still is exciting to see it every time. And then all this special stuff.
Yeah, like special moves, like...
is stuff from the Disney World rides. And those are just a fucking blast. So I love the combat system in this game. It is fluid, it is exciting, it's high-paced, it's fun.
Let's talk about some of the special moves, because when you activate a special move, you basically get to activate a ride from Disneyland, like the teacups.
The teacups is one of my favorites. It does so much damage.
Yeah, the big back and forth ship.
The carousel.
Yeah, the roller coaster, the train, was a lot of fun to watch.
After I got a hang of it, the one where you put on the virtual glasses and you're doing the shooter game like we did in Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah.
That one, when you get used to what you're supposed to do, that one... Yeah.
Yeah, so one thing that I noticed, it seems like when you're actually facing an enemy and you have the enemy locked in,
oh, they're dead.
You do more damage. But if you're activating a special move and you're just kind of looking at fucking some crazy angle direction away from the enemy, you're not doing shit unless you're like right next to him. There was a fight with a character who wears a very Daft Punk style motorcycle helmet, who reminds me of Rinsler from Tron.
Yeah.
And you beat the fucking bricks off that kid when you were playing as Aqua, and you pulled off. It was so good.
I don't know about that.
Oh, well, fucking fine.
You play as Aqua for like 1 second.
Yeah, little taste of a spoiler for you folks. And by the way, we are going to...
Spoiler wall's already been up.
we are going to discuss this to a point. We're getting close to wrapping up. I think we're going to have to do another one on this.
We will.
So, let's start winding down, talking about what we want to address to flesh out our part 1 of Kingdom Hearts before we lead into more for next time.
I am so disappointed with this game. I was all right. I had to stop, and I was literally in tears because of how upset this game made me. Now, the story, not, oh, my heart's breaking, it's coming, because of how angry I am with how this turned out.
Now, was it because the game let you down?
Yes.
Okay, because I was going to ask you if it had to deal with the 3 ice cream bars, 2 for good luck.
The game let me down.
And 1 for Roxas.
In my opinion, I feel like the developers lost sight and lost heart of what this was supposed to be. And a lot of it felt like a cash grab to me.
Yeah. When did you call cash grab? Did you call it?
I called cash grab during Frozen.
Okay. I thought it was Frozen. I think you repeated it in Pirates of the Caribbean.
No.
You didn't say cash grab. You just said infuriating piece of shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, by the way, one of the Order of 13 is a pirate.
Organization 13.
The real Organization 13. Let's talk about the voice cast real quick, because...
All right, so it's not just me. There's a lot of people just smashing the voice actor for Mickey Mouse. We're sorry.
Wait, whoa! I don't need to know about the voice actor for Mickey's personal sex life. Let's just talk about the response to how he is voicing Mickey.
It's a very good attempt.
Smashing the actor. Jesus.
It's a very good attempt at Mickey Mouse, but people are not happy. It is not Mickey Mouse.
No, it's
Scrooge
it's bad.
McDuck.
Oh, okay, so you were playing through Twilight Town.
Yeah.
And you went to the bistro where Ratatouille is.
Yeah.
That Scrooge apparently fucking owns for whatever fucking reason. You, on your phone, took video and sent it to me while I was at work. Mm-hmm. And I watched it. I have very, very strong opinions on Disney games. And I also have very strong opinions on DuckTales.
Yeah.
So we will get to that in the future. But when you showed me what you showed me, I had to walk away from work for a few minutes. The thing is though, is that that's not across the board for the whole game.
No,
I think the actor who plays Goofy regularly is in here.
I think so.
From
The
Honey,
guy-
I Shrunk the Kids
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Max Headroom.
The guy who did the voice for Merlin did a really good job.
He did a great job. Do we need to talk about the star of the game? Do we need to talk about
Rutger Hauer.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, folks, Rutger Hauer is one of our favorite household names. Despite the fact that you fucking hate Blade Runner.
Doesn't matter.
No, it really doesn't. He's beyond all that.
Yeah.
But it was very cool to see him as the ultimate big bad.
Because he shows up and he was talking and we were both like, we know this.
Oh, yeah.
We know this guy.
Oh, yeah.
And then it took us a day and we're like, that's Rutger Hauer.
Yeah. So, voice cast, mixed bag.
Yeah.
Mickey sounds like shit. Many of the other characters sound like shit. Pirates of the Caribbean is completely miscast.
Yeah.
There are so many terrible voices in that level.
What kind of threw me off was Hayden Panettiere didn't do Kyrie this time.
Really?
Yeah.
She's Kyrie?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe she's busy.
I don't know, but
Doing the Heroes revival. I don't fucking know.
I don't know, but she didn't do Kyrie and it's been throwing me off.
Do you want to talk about fucking Haley Joel?
Stop that! I would have made them. I would have, if I were him.
Yeah.
I would have made them pay me extra to say that.
I mean, where else is he gonna get the money now?
Ew.
You don't know. There might be some works for a 6 cents too. So, all that aside, I think we're going to cut this discussion right around here. Final thoughts for now on Kingdom Hearts overall before we come back to this, because I think there's a lot more that we can really dig into here.
We can dig really into it. This was just pretty much a reactions.
Yeah. I think this is also like our, first real addressing the fandom, the series, and the impact that Kingdom Hearts has on pop culture, because
it's
big.
It's everywhere.
Kingdom Hearts has changed the entire platform of action RPGs since its first game debuted, and you can see that even in current Final Fantasy games, that they would not be the type of games that they are unless Kingdom Hearts had never come out.
I agree.
Yeah. Kingdom Hearts is a big fucking deal. It's huge for the gaming community. It's huge for you.
Yep.
It's a touchstone for me because I knew it, in my most important formative years with friends.
And that's actually one of the things, like one of the ways that I kind of bond with your friends from your formative years.
Yeah.
They were like, oh man, she knows Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it's this and Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
So, good times. Good times.
And Berserk and Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking great.
I know.
So, let's say that for now we are going to end this one before we come back to Kingdom Hearts on overall impressions of Kingdom Hearts 3.
You go first.
I think
As an observer.
Also a player.
You haven't played it.
Who got through?
You got through that one fight on the gummy ship because I almost broke the controller because I was so angry.
So as a player of the final gummy ship battle in Kingdom Hearts 3.
You got me through gummy ship. You didn't even get me through an actual boss.
Well, the pyramid
That
ship
was so fucking
is the ultimate heartless ship. It's important.
fucking hate
It's like
it.
Star Wars.
That's
Kingdom
why
Hearts 4 is going to be Star Wars.
Don't you fucking dare.
All right. I'm just, Princess Leia, Disney princess. I'm not a fan of Kingdom Hearts 3. The side eye that you are giving me right now is... I hope you folks listening to this, you can audibly hear the hatred that I'm receiving. for that comment. I'm going to leave it at that. Kingdom Hearts 3, not good. Not a fan. Don't like it. A lot of the levels don't work for me. The gameplay seems convoluted. The fights seem overextended and excessive, especially when the player isn't leveling up. I think the amount of cutscenes and the amount of characters that you have to deal with would be fine if the story and the structure were done better. Some of the characters I like. Some of them I think are unnecessary. But overall, it's a mixed bag. I don't know if I want to see this played through again or if I want to play through it myself. I don't know.
Do not play this game around me.
Because our gameplay styles are so different?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would end up taking the controller. I know I would, because that's just the kind of person I am.
So, over to you.
Overall, I am as a fan and a gamer, I am very disappointed and disheartened with this game. It did not meet any of the expectations that I thought it would. For me, it just doesn't feel right. I do like a lot of I love the combat system, like I said. And I enjoy some of the levels. But for the most part, they just went in too many directions, had too many hands in the pot, and I think they really lost focus on what made these games special.
Fair enough.
That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people are gonna really, really hate me for saying it. But it's honestly something that is so deep for me that it kind of hurt. It hurt me playing this.
Because you cared so much about
I cared so much about it.
Yeah. Do you feel like the characters that you cared about were mishandled?
Yeah. I do.
Do you think that the story was...
I think they...
cobbled together just to make money?
Part of me feels that way, yeah. And I feel like what they did with the story was completely unnecessary and unfair.
You know that Disney is going to make millions off of this,
They
right?
already have.
And more. They're going to make an unbelievable fucking amount of money off of this, and they're going to release more games, guaranteed.
Well,
more merchandise.
Well, this is the end of Sora. Like, this is the last Sora.
You wanna touch on that?
No, because it's gonna ruin the end.
Okay. So we're not gonna spoil the overall ending for folks. Let's just say that this game seems like it was made for the wrong reasons.
I just think they forgot I think they forgot the intent.
Okay. I gotcha.
And along the way, there was just so many things going on with it that they just had to get this tangled web and try to straighten it out. And it just made it...
It does feel like the only reason that movies like Frozen and Big Hero 6 are in there is just to highlight those films and sell more toys based on those movies and the familiarity of the properties.
Yeah. So my overall thing is, like I said, I love the combat.
Yeah.
But overall, I did not like it. I did not like this game.
All right. Let's wind it up. Folks, if you want to talk to us about this game, hit us up across the board. We're just about everywhere you can talk to us at. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. The site, everything. If you have anything that you want to reach out to us to follow up on, we can include it when we readdress a lot of things and do a part 2. Other than that, I think we're about to call it.
Yeah, I have to. I'm starting to cry.
Yeah. So, as always, thanks for listening. Thanks, all supporters, followers, patrons.
Shout outs.
Let's do shout outs.
Shout out to American McGee and
As always.
Martin.
Yes.
You guys have been giving us great shout outs. We want to continue doing that for you.
Yeah.
Guys, check them out. They're working on Alice Asylum. Lots of cool stuff on the way. We just got the bunny plushie, and I know they're working on a whole bunch of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely check them out and make this a thing. It's gonna be worth it. I know this one's gonna be worth it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this game.
Yeah,
big time.
If not, I don't know. So I
Yep.
think it's gonna be great. Check them out. Check out VG Nights, especially the Tandemonium episode. He may drop in one of these days.
Yeah. So, that is a friend of ours, Mr. Tandos, who might be joining you for a show.
For a very this one's gonna hit totally out of left field.
I don't think so because it's gonna be discussing an extreme fandom. And we'll leave it at that. Big shout outs to a few of our favorite shows and collaborators and friends. Dark Art Society, Four Brains, One Movie, who are also doing their 26 Movies from Hell shows, which I've been honored and very happy to be a part of. We just did Alucarda, which I cannot recommend listening to enough. And the fun thing about that episode is, too, if you look up Alucarda on YouTube, you can find, I believe it's a public domain copy that's been ripped and put on there. And if you start the movie 25 minutes into the show, it turns into a movie commentary. So that's kind of neat. A little interactive way for you to listen to us talk about it while you watch the film.
And all of our patrons,
Yes.
fans, everybody. This month is actually something fun. We did not create this. This is just something that Andrew has been doing for the past couple years.
That's right.
And we're actually doing together now. But February marks Women of Horror Month on Instagram.
WIHM 10. Women in Horror Month X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Women in Horror Month is throughout the entire month of February. They give you different kind of themes for the day, and you gotta pick a woman from a horror movie or horror genre, book, anything, to mention it. They have stuff like Mother Knows Best and Women Rights, which is like rights like an author. Deserves More Love, Mean Girls, like just all kinds of stuff. And it's a lot of fun. It just helps show awareness of chicks in horror movies.
Yeah, and we've had a few picks already. We've talked about what's her name? Julie Adams from Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yep.
Kei Fujiwara, who was originally in Tetsuo the Iron Man, who went on to direct a couple of movies on her own.
And then Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, of course. So throughout the month, we are going to be highlighting Women of Horror on Twitter and Instagram, possibly Patreon and Facebook as well. But, you know, for those, we might do a recap of the first few days. We can't wait. We can't wait to put more names out there. Like,
it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, getting to highlight, you know, some of our favorite creators, some of our favorite talents. Everyone from Barbara Crampton to Lynn Shea to Kathy Koja. We're going to be doing that throughout the entire month. And we support and we love Women in Horror Month, so we're coming up with great picks for each and every day.
I'm so happy that you're letting me choose some now.
I'm fucking working with you. We were at dinner last night going through the entire list for the whole month, and you came up with some fucking awesome picks, which I can't wait to get out there.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool. Folks, thank you for listening to our discussion, our first take on Kingdom Hearts. I don't know. Do we want to cut it here? What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. We appreciate everyone. We love you guys. Give us your thoughts on Kingdom Hearts as well. And we'll come back to this one.
We're Freaky Fandoms.
We're Freaky Phantom. See you next time, folks.
See ya!